Where my umbrella at? What's up, y'all? It's your man Slim Jim Longfoot, aka the GOAT, King of America. Yo, welcome back to my channel. You feel me? Right here, we are doing a spoiler-laced review of The Umbrella Academy Season 2. That mug dropped this past Friday on the 31st of July on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Season 1 was came out last year. It was dope. You know what I'm saying? Starting, people such as Ellen Page of Juno fame. I'm here with my man off screen, my cuz Grandhustla1017. If you play on the PlayStation Network, you can find him, Grandhustla1017. If you look on my channel, you can check out our videos of his gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima, which he just finished the other day. We got 5 videos showcasing his play on that game right there, aka Samurai Nick.
What's up, people?
So, you know what I'm saying? So we about to do this real quick. First, we're gonna get his synopsis of what he thought about season 2, and then we're gonna go into the character breakdown. We're gonna go into the character breakdown of this. But before we even get started and all that, you feel me? What I need you to do first is like this video, subscribe to the channel, Slim Jim Longfoot. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's make it do what it do. You feel me? So, Grandhustla1017.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about season 2 of The Umbrella Academy?
I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was a solid. It's a solid. It was real solid like the first season was. The story wise, what the characters going through, what they have to deal with, and when we first get into the season, we see how everybody came to the season and in a timeline where they got dropped off at, and see where everything each year that went by, what they each had to deal with. And it was pretty cool how they set that up like that. I wonder how like Diego how get so long so fast and all that type of jazz, but you get to see why all that stuff like that. So my line of the season was excellent.
My sentiments exactly. Season 2 was straight up dope. You know what I'm saying? They basically brought us to where we left off in season 1. If you saw season 1, once again, this is a spoiler-laced review. So if you have not seen season 1 or season 2 of The Umbrella Academy, do not watch this video. Straight up like that, because we going into all the spoilers, baby, for real. You know, so if you have seen this show, then this is for you. If you haven't seen the show, go watch the show. Go support them on Netflix and go check it out so you can understand what we talking about here. So basically, Umbrella Academy Season 2 picks up where, of course, Season 1 left off. We saw the end of the world in 2019, similar to what's going on there in 2020. Anyway, number 5, played excellent by the young actor, by the actors, I should say, that played number 5. He wished his siblings back in the time, back throughout history. We didn't know where they were going to land up, first seeing the show. And when we got into the first episode, each of them landed in a year in the early 1960s, the most tumultuous decade of them all outside of this one right here, 2020, I think. With that being said, 60 years ago, 1960, when, President JFK, John F. Kennedy, was elected as the 35th president, leading all the way up until his assassination in 1963, November 22nd, 1963. And so we see the characters, we see the Umbrella Academy, the 7, because Ben is here as well. We see the 7 going through this early period of the 60s, and what happens, what changes are made throughout all of them. So what we're about to do right now is a character breakdown of each of the characters. And since my cousin already mentioned one by name, we're gonna go into my man Diego first. So Diego, what did you think about Diego and his arc this season?
Man, Diego is funny, man. He's cool with me, man. He looking like Antonio Banderas in Desperado right now. You know what I'm saying? But Diego cool. I like Diego, man. He funny. He not to work them knives, man. He cool. I like Diego, man.
Hey, shout outs to Diego, man. Diego is awesome. You know what I'm saying? he got his slow moments sometimes, like a couple of the other brothers. He got his slow moments sometimes.
Don't questions, man. You know,
but like you say, he be having his own stuff going on, man. You know what I'm saying? He be having his own stuff. Like number five was of course was bewildered finding out
man,
that
5, man, he's got the game up in this season, man. 5 is a beast, man. To be number 5. And
right.
It look like he came by a pack of cigarettes. But the dude is a beast, man. 5 ain't no joke, yo.
That part. Number 5. When it comes to number 5, y'all, we know number 5 done seen some things. Number 5, of course, now chronologically, you know, being the oldest of them all because he's lived a full life of, you know, getting things done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's been doing some things for a long time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny considering the fact that, you know, these characters, these 7, and you know, it was 43. It was 43 pregnancies. 43 pregnancies and 43 children born on October 1st, 1989. I can't say for certain who all out of those 43 are dead or not, but Hargreeves got those 7.
Question. I know when the season started and they had a quick recap or whatever. The father, right? Did he get them 43 women pregnant? That's what I'm trying to.
Now, see, this is what people still don't know as far as the nature of the pregnancy. Obviously, it has to be some alien in nature, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit, y'all. It's definitely got to be something alien in nature because, you know, there were virgins who ended up getting pregnant as well. Like one of the young ladies who we saw got pregnant, she was, you know, on the swim team. She was in the water. She was a teenager, and she had just kissed a boy. I think that was like her first kiss, and then she fell up on the water, and she came back up, and she had a swollen belly, getting ready to give birth.
How is that even possible, man?
Aliens, baby. Aliens, aliens, baby. And I mean that was pretty much our first time that some extraterrestrial stuff was going on, because these kids were not born naturally, because the women who carried these babies wasn't even pregnant the day before they gave birth. They wasn't pregnant on September 30th, 1989.
Tell me about this show, man. Like the when we saw season 1. And we see how all the kids get introduced, and all these women had all these babies, and I'm like, and you see how they get pregnant out of thin now, man. I'm like, what the hell? Like that tripped me out. You know what I'm saying? That's a good concept. And I was just wondering, like, is it from what we seen in the second season that make it happen, or what? You know, so that it really interesting, man. I'm gonna go back and rewatch a little bit of the first season, just the beginning of just get a little clarification, or either watch a quick recap of the second season. Even though we just finished the second season, I just want to get a clarification on that.
Yeah. So when you check out the first season, y'all, you know, I mean, like I say, I'm talking to y'all. This is spoiler laced. This is a spoiler review. So I'm talking to you as if you done seen both seasons of the Umbrella Academy, whether you seen the first season last year or you just seen it, binge watching it with season 2. We know that these pregnancies are definitely alien in nature, because once again, the women were not even pregnant the day before they gave birth. You know, one minute they was, you know, cooling, next minute they giving birth. You know, they a full 9, they belly swole, and they giving birth to some babies. And you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, especially with what we saw in season 2, you know, regarding Hargreeves, we know daggone well something is amiss. You know, we may as well jump into Hargreeves right now. We're gonna jump into Hargreeves right now before we get back to the before we get to the Umbrella Academy. Hargreeves himself. We know, of course, my man, the alien. We know that.
Oh, man,
we know that for a fact now.
Okay.
So
give you my opinion on Hargreeves. Hargreeves is an asshole, man. Fake ass, monopoly looking ass dude, man. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm sorry. Look, like we said, it's a spoiler review, y'all. But the thing is, though, the dude do something. Then when you get further into the season, dude do something. He take his fucking head off. And you see what this thing look like. because it's a fucking alien. I mean, I'm sorry, said but it's an alien, and you only see the face, you don't see the back of it, and it look disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, you know that face is trashy when you see the back of that man's head, and it's just like,
man, look like a back of a what you call them dinosaur with the hard hammer head.
Yeah, he like a between the triceratops and a.
Man, and we just talk about the back of the head. I can front the back of the head.
We didn't even see what his face look like.
I don't even want to see what the face look like. I'm sure if I saw it, I'm gonna throw up somewhere. I couldn't do it.
The back of his head was atrocious. Like you know it's bad when you see the back of the head. Like if you see the back of the predator head, first thing you think, oh, it's a dude with some locks or something. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get with
predator head look better than his head.
Yeah, exactly.
That's bad.
Exactly.
That's super bad.
Exactly. The man. Yeah, cause when you saw him from the back pulling off the human mask, and you see the back shape of his head, and you see the things back there moving, and you like
that's
it's just like
what man in black when you need him? Straight up.
Real talk. He need to go in the containment unit or the jail or something. He need to be off world.
Oh my god.
So we know that he is of course not human. And another thing, he definitely took the heart with the time change, because as we know in the original, in season 1, he was dead. At least that we know of. He was dead in the first season.
They what preceded for us to believe. You know what I mean?
But as of right now, I believe that he actually did die. And the first one, obviously, was them changing the timeline. Because they was a part of.
Yeah.
They was a part of this new timeline. So with him having knowledge of these kids now, which was something that he never perceived to do before. Like he said it himself plenty of time, even in the present, he do not like kids. And some time between 1963 of course and 1989 when he adopted these kids, which of course if these are his actual children, then of course he was going to take them in if they were his actual children, and he wanted to see what type of powers that they possessed. You know, if they were his actual children that he made in some type of way. Because the way they were, born was alien by nature, and we know now that he's an alien. So evidently that's what it was. And with that being said, now that he has this knowledge of, having kids 26 years prior to them being born, maybe that made him step up his thought process on wanting to do that. And of course, the now Sparrow Academy, as it was called when they came back to 2019, with their brother Ben being alive. Speaking of Ben, which saying he did get enough screen time. He did get a lot of screen time this season. So we're gonna talk about Ben real quick. Ben, what you thought about Ben this season?
Ben was like Klaus's conscience. You know what I'm saying? He's
good conscience.
The good conscience, and basically Ben is obviously dead, but he's a ghost. Only Klaus can see, and he helped Klaus. He stayed with Klaus through the entire season. He is Klaus's brother, but we see that he has some kind of influence on Klaus, and they be having their love bouncing back and forth, and it be pretty funny. And Ben is just like one of the good-hearted ones too. You know what I'm saying? He got a good heart, and he I like Ben. Ben was straight, man. I like Ben straight up.
Yeah, and it was good to see him get a moment, with the other siblings, even if it wasn't for a long period of time, and especially him being able to help Vanya at the end to get through her episode of getting ready to do Apocalypse yet again, because we're gonna get into Vanya in a second. We ain't gonna get into it right yet, but he definitely had to make sure. Nobody else could get to her except him, because anybody else getting that close would be dead. You know what I'm saying? At that point, exactly. It was no other way that anybody could have got to her at that point. So, exactly. So shout outs to Ben being able to do that, and shout outs also because he was feeling old girl. You know what I'm saying? She was ready to daggone rock his world, even though it wasn't his body. You know what I'm saying? She started calling. She was saying dad and everything. She was ready to go.
Oh, you talking when he was in the
Oh yeah. Yeah. She was ready to go. She was ready to go. Shout out to that young lady. Need to find out her name. She's beautiful young lady.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most
So
definitely.
speaking of beautiful, of course we got to get into Allison. Allison, the sister of the team, is 2 sisters of the Umbrella Academy. Is 5 guys, 2 women, and we about to get into Allison. You know what I'm saying, of the team. What you thought about Allison's arc this season?
Allison did a good job this season. She's really cool, strong, black woman, beautiful black woman, by the way. And she held her own, and you know what I'm saying. And there's some sad moments early in the season when you watch it, where it has to do with black people. And I was kind of shocked to see that was even Netflix even allowed that in there. But they did, and it
why wouldn't they? They got when they see us on the
True that. But it's also supposed to be like, I guess, a kind of kid friendly show.
Huh?
Ain't it?
No. What's kid friendly about the Umbrella Academy? What? Have you? Did you what? Kid friendly where?
Hey, look, they got a kid in it though.
That don't mean nothing. He probably ain't even no kid in real life. How old that boy in real life? He's probably like playing 14, but wow, he's 16 in real life. See, he'll be 17 next month.
How the heck they got that boy looking like he's 12 years old in that show?
well, he's actually supposed to be like about 14, because he disappeared when he was about like 14 or so, because Ben died in 2006.
Okay.
And number 5 disappeared before Ben died. So 2006 they were like 16, 17 that year. 16, 17 years old that year. In 2006. So he died. I mean, well, number 5 disappeared, I think probably like around 03 or something, when they were like 14 or whatnot. So they disappeared like around the time the boy who plays him in real life was born. So funny.
I got cash on that shit, bro. What do you think about
Luther? Luther. All right, before we get into Luther, of course, we got. I'm gonna go back to my synopsis on Allison, which of course gonna lead into Luther. With Allison, first of all, she did great this season, and the fact that you know, they, of course, being in the '60s, I'm gonna tell y'all like this here. Look me in my eye real quick. The '60s weren't that far from my time of life, because my parents were kids of the '60s, but me myself, I ain't about to be nowhere in the '60s. Nope, I ain't trying to be in the 1960s, not as a child, not as a teenager, not as a grown-up. Y'all can have the 1960s. Me myself ain't trying to be back in that time. So Allison, I understand that she found love during that time, but love ain't gonna keep me in that time when I know about the future. But guess what? The future is still just as crazy as it was in 2020 as it was in 1960 to 63, because of course that was at the flare height of the civil rights movement, and racists just thought they could do whatever they want to do. But you know what racists can do right now? Eat this fish. That's what they can do, you feel me? But Allison, she did great to not basically take over the era, because me myself, with her power, with just her powers on, I would have took that era over straight up. Old boy would have been pouring that coffee till daggone his bones fell off. You feel me? That's how that would have been. So you know what I'm saying. So shout out to her hubby for wanting to stop her, because hey, once she started using her power again, it was about to get raw. It was about to get raw, because all she gotta do is say she heard a rumor about you, baby. You feel me? And with that being said, you know, we get back into Luther, aka, you know what I'm saying, her brother / semi-love interest, because, you know, they had an attraction to each other, you know, growing up and, you know, as kids or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But even though they were, you know, basically adopted brother and sister, you feel me? And Luther, he was, you know, from where he started off at in season 1, you know what I'm saying, he was so sure about himself even after his accident. And then, of course, you know, once he found out that he really didn't have a place, that his dad basically, you know, felt like he didn't have no place in anything anymore. You know, he pretty much, I mean, he put him on the moon to give him some type of importance, make him feel important, which he was basically discarded. And so Luther at this point was, you know, kind of lost in the beginning of the season, and just like, okay, he just wanted to go somewhere where he felt appreciated and wanted for his services, even if it was just being a thug's, you know what I'm saying, heavy hitter in you know what I'm saying, in little fight club matches and whatnot. And so with Luther, he had funny moments and he had goofball moments as well in the show, and you know, in the season. And you know what I'm saying, Luther, you know, Luther cool, you know what I'm saying, once he get it together, and of course got past, you know what I'm saying, you know, failing Vanya like he did, which all of them of course failed Vanya, because I mean, you know, with the upbringing they had, they were brought up to be competitive and to be the best and be superheroes and, you know, all of this type of jazz. And I mean, they were basically celebrity superhero kids, you know what I'm saying? They were celebrities in their time. They were like, you know, a kid group, Fantastic Four / Power Pack without good parents or whatnot, you know? So with Luther, he especially felt a type of way, you know, being number one. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they were numbers before they had real names. It was the mother, you know, the robot who, you know, started giving them real names. Like number 5, I don't even think number 5 even got a name. I don't think they probably started getting names till they were like around the age, like after the age when he disappeared, because he's still known as number 5. Like he ain't even got no name. So you know what I'm saying, as far as we know. So with that being said, like yeah, Luther a trip. What you thought of Luther this season?
Luther, he cool, man. Being the big brother, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ain't he number 1?
Yeah, he number 1. Don't know if he was born first, but don't know if they numbers correlate to them being born first, or whether it correlates to maybe their power rankings that the dad, you know, had them as. Because let's see, for everybody, let's see, I can't, because I know he was number 1. Vanya's number 7.
Allison number 2.
Allison number 2. Mm-hmm. So I think Ben is number 6, right?
Diego number 3, and
was Ben number 6 or was Klaus number 6?
No, Ben number 6.
So Ben number 6, so that means Klaus number 4 then.
7.
Yeah, so Klaus was number 4 then.
He 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. No, he ain't 5 cause.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he 4. Yeah.
So you got to be 4. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. So that's how that worked. You know what I'm saying? Like their dad gave them numbers before he gave them names. You feel me? So
he don't did that. You know the reason why he don't did that, right?
I forgot why he did it.
Because he wanted to have like emotional attachment.
Oh yeah, no emotional attachment. Yeah, exactly. You know that. I mean, he regarded them as, I mean, they were basically soldiers. Weapons to him, soldiers. You know, that's all it was. Just like, you know how soldiers are in real life. You just gonna put the dog tag on and boom, you soldier 6'5" whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's what they are. With that being said, we about to get into Klaus. What you thought about Klaus this season?
Klaus, I remember Klaus. He funny as a bug, man. He is so funny, man. He is funny. He said all these little 90 quotes and TLC references and chasing waterfalls and all that. Destiny Child, man. He was just doing all sorts all over the place.
He was stealing everybody's stuff.
He was stealing everybody's stuff, man. I'm like, man, but this boy gonna get copyrighted, man. But hey, he funny though. He was in a very funny way, and I like Klaus, man. Klaus funny, man. He really don't give a damn. He about partying and stuff like that, and you know, it's the stuff that he do it in the era that they in is hilarious. It is hilarious how he got these people just believing he just kumbaya and the Pope and Jesus and all that type of jazz. That's just funny.
I think this article says it best with the title: "The Umbrella Academy's second season takes a trip to Nonsenseville."
Yeah, most definitely.
Like for real, it you know, and that's what it is in a sense, because I mean, obviously, if you take 7 people, well, 5, depending on how you want to call it, 5 people, you know what I'm saying, from the future and put them in the past, obviously some things gonna end up getting changed regardless of what was different, especially with Allison being a black woman of 2019. You know, she was a celebrity, she was, you know, a superhero. So you thrust her back in the in 1960, and what was so crazy, of course, because this was right after she had just got a throat slit by Vanya, so she couldn't even talk at first. So she, like she said, she didn't get her voice back for a year, and her power is in her voice. So you know what I'm saying. So she had to, you know, basically, you know, put up and just be aware of her surroundings and listen and see what was going on, observing, you know, this era that was only, of course, with anybody just read about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like, I mean, that's something that you know, Allison, I'm quite sure, yeah, definitely in her life never experienced, because she was adopted by an eccentric rich person, trained up to become a superhero. And she was a celebrity. She was a celebrity her whole freaking life. So the black experience went completely past her. She didn't have to deal with that at all until she got thrust back into 1960. You know, she didn't have to deal with, you know, blackness at all. You know what I'm saying? As far as that goes.
Yeah.
She didn't have to deal with that at all. And with Klaus is, like my cousin said, Klaus is crazy on every level. You know, he has his points where, you know what I'm saying, he can definitely pull some emotions out, because the most emotional turmoil that he faced in the first season was, you know, being thrust back in time and spent a few years doing in the late 60s and ended up in Vietnam, which is where he met the young man Dave, who he saw again in season 2, you know, younger, before Kennedy was killed. Because Dave told him in season 1 that the only reason he enlisted to go to Vietnam was, you know, after JFK got killed. But of course, you know, the timeline changed and he ended up enlisting beforehand because of Klaus's interventions trying to, you know, rewrite history, so to speak. And Klaus, I mean, he made a what ended up becoming a cult, and that mug called Destiny's Children. Destiny's Children, y'all. A trip. Speaking of, y'all go check out Black is King. I saw some of that myself earlier. Yesterday, I didn't see it all yet, but yeah, from what I saw, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Shout out to Beyonce. Don't forget Beyonce. Hit up my OnlyFans referral. Lila. What you want to say about Lila?
Okay, I mean, when we first get introduced to this new character, Lila, and they in the insane asylum, and
with Diego.
With Diego, and she's very quirky, she's funny, crafty, and a little crazy. And in this second season, how they got inserted this character into the Umbrella Academy, and it's pretty cool. But it's a twist at the end of it. And I know this is part of the pre-review, but I'm not gonna see it. I watched it, so it's a twist at the end in the, I think like the 9th or 10th episode, you get to see the twist with her at the end. It's pretty interesting how they did it, and pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I like Lila, man. I like Lila. She was things, man, too. She can fight.
Oh yeah.
She's smart.
We could definitely say that she was definitely the breakout new character of this season. You know what I'm saying? For someone who wasn't there, of course, in the first season, she was definitely the breakout character of this season. You know, with where she tied into the story, you know, of Diego meeting her in the insane asylum while he was trapped in the 60s, and you know, and how she was able to, you know, help assist him, you know, saying getting out, and of course everything that transpired later on down the road. Now I could go deeper with the spoilers, but I'm gonna respect how my cuz daggone gave y'all just a little bit to chew on. So even though you done seen it, if you haven't, you should have seen it. You should have seen it by now. You feel me? Cause this is spoiler review. But I ain't gonna put it out there. But if you seen it, then you know. If you ain't, what you waiting on? Go see it. Now, with that being said, of course, we get to who is, obviously one, you know, who was one of the bigger stars on the show before, you know, it came out. Ellen Page, who of course plays number 7, aka Vanya, aka the Weapon,
aka Kill Everything, aka Doomsday, aka Apocalypse, aka the World Ender, aka the World Destroyer, aka the Earth Ender, aka Hell on Earth,
Armageddon,
all of that. She's all that, people. This I'm not saying it as a euphemism. I'm saying for real, she's all of that, literally. Straight up. If y'all seen season 1, you can tell this bitch got some issues. You gonna trust somebody that got white eyes, man, and white skin, and can float and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the person that straight wreck shit. Straight up, she ain't playing no game. But I like Vanya, man. She cool. You know what I'm saying? She cool. In this season, she pretty quiet a little. She ain't really start showing what she can do again, because she can't remember what she's doing. She just using her powers this time, like off of instinct, because the situation she was in. But I like Vanya. Vanya cool, man. I like Vanya. And she, once again, she's in the middle of the shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think we had anything to do with her this season, but definitely I didn't do that too.
Definitely, because you know what, as crazy as we feel, you know, things are going now with the country, and we got people in power banning apps and crap. You know what I'm saying? Just off of pettiness. You think it's petty now? It was super petty back in the day. Like if you knew more than 4 Russian words, then you was a communist. You feel me? And with her being named Vanya, and you know what I'm saying, new Russian, and you was in the 1960s and nobody didn't know where you were from, that was a wrap.
That's timing.
That was a wrap. That's all she wrote right there. I mean, they talk about the FBI or something. I mean, like, you had to got the CIA involved, because that was during Hoover era, and we know how Hoover was, you know what I'm saying, with his fishnet stockings and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That was the era that you didn't want to be about right there. You feel me? But Vanya was great. You know what I'm saying? Her story, you know what I'm saying, coincided great with everybody, and you know what I'm saying, I think hopefully going forth that she is appreciated more now, because you know, like I said, they were kids, you know, competing against each other, you know what I'm saying, and being superheroes growing up, and she was always seen, of course, as the one who didn't have powers, which you knew something had to been up with that, because there's no way in the world, like, why would he have even kept her if she didn't have power? He could just send her to a regular adoption agency and, you know, been done with her. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was, you know, literally no point for him to keep her if she didn't have any type of powers. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it was, though, and that's what ended up happening. So with that being said, y'all, you know, we could go into it a lot more. We can go into a lot more things, such as, oh, who we got? The handler. We got to talk about the handler, because first off, she's supposed to been dead, y'all. She's supposed to been dead. She got shot in the head. She supposed to been dead. I can't even remember who shot her, but whoever shot her,
Hazel
should have shot her a little bit. Hazel didn't shoot her. Hazel, you should have shot a couple more times. Bro. You should have went close range to the peeled back. Said pop. That one right there. She didn't know how to die. She was ready. I mean, she was about to get burnt, because she was about to get incinerated, and she was nope. She was like nope. She knew she had to daggone implement some more stuff, and and she did what she did. She did exactly what she did. She set a lot of stuff in motion, and definitely came close to enacting her revenge. As a matter of fact, she not only didn't come close, she actually succeeded. She succeeded, even though she, of course, still ended up getting killed both times before the reset and after the reset. But she ended up crafting her revenge. I mean, she killed the Umbrella Academy. She did kill him. Well, except for number 5, he was holding on just by a little bit. If it wasn't for that little bit he held on to, and that little bit of information that he got from Pop, it was done. It was done. And so with that being said, there's no telling what's going to be in store for season 3. For season 3, in the original timeline, we know it was 43 children that was born on October the 1st in 1989. 44 if you include my niece, because my niece was born October the 1st, 1989. But she's not on the Umbrella Academy though. So if y'all ever want to use somebody on the Umbrella Academy, if you watching this Netflix, yo, go use my niece, because she was actually born on October the 1st, 1989. That's why she loved the show. And she was like, oh, bro, you gotta watch this show. So, you know. So, that part right there. So, with that being said, season 3. What are your thoughts of season 3? What's going to happen on season 3?
I think season 3 is going to pick up exactly where season 2 left off. So, we can get clarification of what they landed into. That's what I want to see, how that came about. Because if they came back the day after the apocalypse or what they call it, I hit in that time frame 24 hours of that their situation changed to another situation when they put in their situation, and that would trip me out. So I'm curious about that. I hope you see more of that.
Well, you know, I can answer that for you right now, just off the simple fact that it's time travel. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they already went back in time and everything that they changed through interactions with their dad and everything, especially that, the interaction with their dad, whatever led to, because if I'm not mistaken, because he didn't die naturally, he had them kill him or something like that. Yeah. So he didn't die naturally. So obviously now, you know, that they gave him this knowledge of him, getting kids with extraordinary powers and all this type of stuff. So they gave him an extra 26 years of preparation to doing this stuff, because there's no telling he probably didn't think that far ahead, you know what I'm saying, in terms of wanting to do something like that, because he said he would never, have kids and whatnot. It's no telling when he had that thought. He probably didn't have that thought until maybe like 5 years before they were born, or even a year before they were born. But now they gave him a whole 26 years of preparation to creating this whole situation. And so now they looking at a whole new future because of their interaction with him. And now, and of course, since they avoided, creating the apocalypse to begin with, which is why they was able to return to the day after it happened, and they go there, and you got a whole new thing going on. You got the Sparrow Academy and whatever the case is there. Now, why he changed the name, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because, they did tell him that it was called the Umbrella Academy. Maybe he changed it just to switch up his identity or whatever the case. So, we definitely going to see what happened with season 3 of the Umbrella Academy. Until then, meantime, between times, I hope y'all enjoyed this, review of Netflix, The Umbrella Academy. Season 2 is out right now. Go check it out. It is dope. It's based off of a comic book series of the same name, The Umbrella Academy. Once again, this is your man, Jim Longfoot, aka the GOAT, King of America. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Comment below. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to my live chat crew from Latanya Porter, Sexy Trees, 1408, Evie Gavala, and Queen Candace. Shout outs to everybody in the playback, laid back, in the Maybach, way back. You feel me? Appreciate y'all for coming out. Meantime, between times, I'm out, y'all. One love.
don't waste my time. Tell them don't waste my time. Tell them don't waste my time.